All things considered, not a bad looking used guitar.
I should probably explain. It started on a Saturday afternoon. Karen and I are sitting on the front porch of the church because, well, that's kind of what we do, and we're just goofing around playing guitar and enjoying ourselves. You may not have met Karen before, but she's been on the channel, and she's not only a supporter of the channel, she's also a member. That's her SXRST. Anyway, she seems to understand that I'm going to be checking my phone on a regular basis, and on this particular afternoon, I discovered something glorious. Something that I had been waiting for quite some time. Something that I had been on the lookout for. Something that was going to be more expensive than it needed to be. I've heard about this brand, Harley Benton, for quite some time, and I've had my eye on this SC200 for a long time, but I had difficulty pulling the trigger on it. It's a $90 to $100 guitar, basically, but by the time you tack on tax, shipping costs, and if there's a tariff or not today or this hour, who knows how expensive it can be. But there's one available that's used. It's in the States, and it costs about what a new one costs before all the fees and shipping. She looks at me and she smiles, and I hear the words that I didn't expect to hear. I'll buy you a t-shirt and dinner if you just go ahead and get the guitar now. I had to laugh. I think she just didn't want me obsessing about it for the rest of the day. After all, we had to enjoy the demolition derby, because that's what we do.
The Wednesday Night Info Show.
The Harley Benton SC-200 Mini. 22 frets, 22-inch scale, and it arrives with 8 to 40 strings on it. Well, there's no way in the world that's going to work for me. Not only can you bend for days, but it's going to be forever fighting tune, even with the bone nut that the previous owner put on it. So it's time to take all that off and put on a set of 10s. I've got the strings off. I want to go ahead and pull off the truss rod cover and just see if the truss rod is actually in there or if it works. Some of the folks in the budget guitar universe have found plates with no rod. Standard operating procedure, grab my 10 mil socket and go ahead and tighten up those tuning pegs so they're more secure against the headstock. And as long as the view is unencumbered, I might as well go ahead and take some car polish and shine up the body. This is when I remember about gloss black. I think everybody knows I just can't leave those controls the way they are. I mean, I know I'm a Strat guy, so yeah. After some well-intentioned teasing, I'm not going to use the material that I normally use to clean the frets. I started using what amounts to an emery board, and that tends to polish them a bit without getting fine grains of steel wool all over the place. But remember, you still use your guides. And of course, it wouldn't be an MGS guitar if I didn't take a sanding block to the edges of the frets and the fretboard. And so now we spritz on a little bit of lemon oil, let it sit to dry, and wipe it off. And hopefully, when we're finished, I'll still have a little bit of compressed air left over so I can blow off all of the lint. All right, y'all, let's be honest. The position of the switch bothers me. So once I decided to go ahead and put those Strat control knobs on it, I wondered about repositioning the switch. Well, in order to do that, I have to take the back off of it. So I took the screws out of the back plate, and I couldn't get it loose. Normally, I try to pry it open with a pick or something sharp, but this time I decided to try to use painter's tape. I figured if I just pressed enough of the sticky stuff onto the plate and then took it off quick, it would pop right out. Voila! Now, let's see about moving those controls. There are two problems. One is the actual hole that the switch goes through is bigger than the volume pots. The other is that the back of the switch is horizontal. In other words, you can't switch the switch. It took me 5 strings previous to figure out that the reason I was having difficulty getting the strings through the bridge was that the saddles were actually blocking the holes because of the way that the intonation had been set up before I got it. So I had to press the saddles towards the tail in order to get the string through. Number 6 is the charm, apparently. And now, having gone through all of that, it's basically time to brush off the guitar and then to worry about the tuning, the relief, the action, the intonation, and then the noodle. All right, so here's what needed to be done. The relief was off. I needed to adjust the neck because the strings were 1.5 miles away from it, even when I switched to the thicker strings. So that meant taking the cover off again and getting that taken care of. Then I had to set the action up. I have not set the intonation yet. And then I, of course, but switch is going to take some getting used to. So, clean sounds pretty good. Let's throw a little bit of dirt on it. All right. The saddles, the little Allen wrenchy things that stick up out of the saddles, they're really high out of the saddles. So if you rest your hand on the bridge, that's going to be a problem. I may have to actually space the neck out in order to raise those saddles up to get rid of that. Because from trying to file them down in the past, that has not worked out well for me. Let's take away a little bit of that reverb. What do you think? Or delay. Very throaty. Very, very throaty. Of course, probably have the pedals set up for strats, so it's probably throwing a lot more bass in than it needs it. All right, let's throw in a little bit of a Marshall-y-ish kind of tone. That's enough of that widdly widdly woo nonsense. All right, let's try a couple more tones just to go ahead and go through my samples. I can pretty much say without hesitation, I really like this one. I'm looking forward to see what it does at center stage. Hope you stay tuned to see that in a few days. Oh yeah, and just in case you were wondering if we made it.
You guys, let's hear it for it! Here we go!
Brought to you by the good folks of the Miniguitar Society. Hey!